All right, let's go ahead and get started for day number 24. Wow. Can't believe it. There is only a week left in the month, only a week left of doing this challenge. But I am going to do another challenge for October. Something actually very different. I'm calling it a monster a day challenge for October. I think that's kind of appropriate. If you've tuned in before, I may have mentioned that. So I don't know yet if I'm going to live stream that or not, but that's going to be my challenge, at least for myself, for October, is a monster a day. So anyway, it's day 24 of my 30-day September challenge, and I have really no idea what I'm going to do today. I haven't really thought too much about it. I had a pretty busy day, but I'm not super tired. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. I can see my internet's fluctuating, so things might pause and might have some glitches and hiccups, but as long as you can hear the voice, I guess that's good. So gotta love the internet. So anyway, let's see, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that's right, I was gonna switch it over. So switching it over, got my watercolor, got my paper, I've got some collage materials over here, and like I said, I really don't have much of a clue of what I'm doing, but let's go ahead and grab, I don't know, I don't use this green much, so let's go ahead and grab some green, and just kind of starting out like I often do, just getting some color down. Okay, that seems a little bright. Let me go ahead and adjust the camera. Okay. It's like I try to set it up and make sure everything looks good before we start, but you never know until you actually get started with it. So I'm going to leave that wet. I'm going to grab some of this darker brown. Let that bleed into some of the wet paint. Maybe a little bit of yellow. I don't know. Alright, got something started. Hit it with the hair dryer. So let's see if my internet will kind of behave itself. It's been bouncing around. Looks like it hopefully won't be so glitchy or whatever. But anyway, if you're just tuning in, and if you want to pop into the comments and say hi, always awesome to see where folks are tuning in from. Alright, I think I'm going to grab my Inktense pencils. Looking for some maybe some colors I haven't used a lot of. All right. I think I've got these circles. I think I'm just going to trace a bunch of these, overlap them. Let some of them go off the edge. So I'm pressing kind of hard with the pencil just to get a bit of pigment down. So if you've been tuning in, you know that I really love my my Derwent Inktense pencils. And they're water-soluble ink. They're very similar to watercolor pencils. Actually, they work exactly the same way. But the nice thing is I've got the big set, the set of 72. And so that way there's a nice wide range of color. And what I really like about them is that all the colors except for white are transparent, and so it just allows me to build up the layers that I really like. They are a bit more expensive than like watercolor pencils, but I definitely like them. But really, any water-soluble material, watercolor pencils. Alright, so I just kind of have this overall design on there, and I'm just going to spread some of that. So I think some of them I might just sort of like paint along the lines, and others I might just kind of spread the water over it. Do a little bit of both. I don't know if it really makes any difference. So I think I've got just a little bit of this map. I'm gonna just cut some of this out. This is from a map of Virginia, where I live. But this section that I'm cutting out is from the city of Norfolk. But I like that slightly yellow color. And so my plan is to cut this up into smaller squares. So a lot of times I've drawn the squares in with the Inktense pencils, but I think this time I'll go ahead and put them in with collage, and then I can use the Inktense pencils around it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to kind of continue with some of the ideas that I've been doing the last few days, or if I'm just going to end up doing this one completely by intuition and just kind of let it develop. I think it's kind of a let's wait and see kind of attitude today. So one of the things I'm thinking of is to have this go up like that. So I need a little bit more, so I think cut a little bit off of here. So I'm liking the map one here. It's, you know, it has this slight yellow tint to it. So it's a little bit different than the rest of the image, but yet kind of ties in nicely with it. I'm going to use this brown. It's called Willow. It's kind of a medium brown. It's not super dark, but it should go well nicely with this green that's in the background. It'll just bring a little bit of dark value around the pieces. So a lot of times I'm trying to sort of bury the collage into the piece, trying to push it down in. But with what I'm doing now, it's going to make it pop out. And then probably later in the piece, I'll worry about like if it really feels like it's part of it. And I can already see like with those red lines from the roads, I might end up extending those. That would help kind of tie it all together. But who knows what's going to come up next. That brown just brings out a little bit of contrast next to the map collage. I think while that's still wet, I'm going to go in and get a little bit of this golden color. I think I am going to kind of play off some of those ideas that I've been exploring lately, using that organic tree-like form. Yeah, I like this form in part because it's a nice contrast to the geometric shapes. But it is kind of ambiguous. So some people kind of see it as a tree, and like I've said before, I kind of see it more as a solid object. Not really a tree with leaves, but almost rock-like. And so sometimes beginning artists don't understand like why artists kind of take an idea and, do the same thing over and over again. But it's not so much doing the same thing. It's taking an idea and exploring it, kind of thinking about, well, what happens? What can I do with this image? And so it's like, using different colors, using different materials. Actually, last night, while I was sitting down watching some TV, I was just doing a drawing, just using the pen on white drawing paper, and just kind of exploring just the pen drawing. And this isn't a new image. This is something that I've used before. Actually, on my social media, there's I don't know how long ago. It was back in the spring, I think, when we first went on lockdown, basically, here in Virginia. I did an image like this in my journal. Did it for my time-lapse journal Friday, and then turned around the following week and did a couple examples, a couple things on just plain mixed media paper, but much bigger than this, but just kind of playing around with it. So it's been around even longer than that, so it's something that I've played with repeatedly, and it comes back again and again. And I've said this before, but I think artists have to pay attention to the things that keep coming back, that keep popping up in their work. So it might be a certain color. So some folks just really are enamored with certain colors. Sometimes it's a shape or an image or a word. Got some loud vehicle outside beeping. A lot of excitement today in little Purcellville, Virginia. I find it really interesting how color can affect things. I've used different colors with this image, and yesterday I was using blue. Today it's more earthy colors. It's really interesting to see how that changes. So I'm just extending some of these red lines from the maps. It's a good way to kind of help tie things together. And just kind of let them go randomly once I go off into the background. And the nice thing is with the red lines, I can put in ones that, have just kind of randomly. That's the nice thing about the art is like I make up the rules. So if my rule is like, oh, well, I'm going to use the red lines that are in the maps, I can always change that rule to like, well, I can put in lines that aren't there. Especially thinking about how things balance out, thinking about the design. I was working on Crystal Neubauer's collage workshop, Discovering Your Intuitive Voice. And she described, like, when you're using your intuitive voice, it's not that you're not thinking at all. It's just that you don't spend time overthinking. So I like that idea that, like, yeah, I'm thinking, but I'm not overthinking it. So I think I'm going to do like I did today. I really like that notion of having the circle and the that organic form. But I think today I'm going to use, instead of a map, since I already have maps there, I'm going to use, this is kind of sitting on top of my stash. This is some kind of topography type drawings that I've done before. And I just scanned them or photocopied them. Use my circle template. Just trying to find an interesting circle, basically. Sometimes with something like this, since it's a big piece of paper, I'll cut out the rough shape. That way I have a smaller piece of paper. And then it's just easier for me to work and cut out that circle. Yeah, let's try it. I haven't used my bingo numbers lately, so I'm thinking might as well use some of these. I haven't really figured out exactly what I like about these numbers. I've used them quite a bit. Not so much lately, but I don't know. There's something about using several of them in a piece that I find kind of interesting. I mean, part of my work here is like I've limited myself, so I've used a lot of words and text in my visual journal and in a lot of my artwork, so I've kind of given myself the limitation, like, well, I don't want to use words and text in these, and just to kind of like blatantly give the meaning away. I want it to be a little bit more ambiguous, and so there's something about the numbers that I like. I think it's in part because it does speak to language. I mean, letters and numbers kind of go hand in hand. So I feel like the numbers like allude to something, but exactly what, I don't know. And maybe that's what I like about it. Just going to bring in some of the bold outlines that I like. think I'm going to use this golden color again and maybe try to bring a little bit more contrast to the outside. And just use some of this brown paint to darken this organic form. Just debating. Looking at this circle, and it's very white. It's just the printer paper, the Xerox paper. I just can't decide if I want to do something to it or not. Yeah, I like how it contrasts everything, but I don't know if I like it totally white. Alright, what if I take a little bit of red? darken because of the water. Let's dry it and see. So it's made it a little bit pink, but I don't know if I like that. So let's dig in. Use a little bit of my poppy red. I think I'm just going to go around the outside. Don't know if I like that 100%, but I like it better than just the plain white circle. Now I just want to use the thinner black pen to put in some details. So Stephanie was asking about the watercolor pencils. You can use them. She asked if they're used mainly like watercolor, and you paint, kind of add water and paint with them, or do you use them more like a colored pencil? And the answer is you can really use them both ways. So you can use them dry, and they act just like a colored pencil, but a watercolor pencil, the pigment is water soluble, and so you can use it. There's lots of different techniques, but I use mostly just plain water, and that activates the pencil and makes it more like watercolor paint. I like it because I can draw with it and shade with it and then paint over it. So then, it's kind of, I grew up drawing, and so really drawing was my first art, and I love the control of drawing. It's one of the reasons I like using colored pencil. And So the watercolor pencil gives you the ability to shade, to draw, and then you can paint over it, and it blends it all together, gives you some painterly effects that I really like. And I love building up layers. So I use the Inktense instead of the watercolor pencil, but like I said, they work exactly the same way. All right, so I'm getting to a point where I'm feeling like this one's finished. Almost. One more thing I want to do. All right, I think that's it. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them in the comments. But I think that kind of wraps it up for another one. I can't believe it's the end of day 24. So anyway, I'm kind of like working with a theme here, at least for the last few days. So yeah, this is day number 24, and like I said, if you've got any questions or comments or anything, pop them in to the comments, and if I don't get a chance to answer them now live, I can always type something in and reply later. But yeah, so day number 24, I'll be back tomorrow same time for day number 25. Won't be here definitely on Saturday, just because I'm teaching a workshop, an image transfer workshop. So some of you might actually be signed up for that. If not, check it out on my website. And then I don't know about Sunday, but I'll definitely be back Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, and then wrapping it up. So only 6 days left. Can't believe it. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. And like I said, if you got any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll try to respond in time. So really appreciate people being here, tuning in, and if you're doing something, post it, or you can post it in the comments. Some of you put images in the comments. Others have posted online on social media and tagged me in it. It's always great to see what people are doing. So if you've been making something, I'd love to see it. So anyway, but thanks so much for tuning in for day number 24, and I'll be back tomorrow for day number 25.